what we discussed in last class,
Topology structures.
right? So we discussed topologies, right? So how many topologies does WebSphere have?
2 types.
So today we are going to see standalone topology installation. So we are going to install standalone version. I told you, right? Express or base is nothing but standalone. Okay. If you go for Express edition or base edition, it gives you standalone topology. So what I do is I'll show you version 7 also, not only 8.5.5. Standalone, I'll show you version 7. ND onwards, we will move with 8.5.7. Fine. So that you will have an idea how version 7 is different from 8.5.5. So in future, you may work with the 7 also, because most of the organizations are still using 7. They are not migrated to 8.5.5. So it is better to know a bit of 7 also. So that is why I'm just suggesting you to see standalone installation at least on 7. ND anyway, I'll share you software. If you have interest on ND also, you just go ahead. But I'll show you 8.5.5. Fine guys, everyone. So just go to this. So this is the software package that you get if you download. Here you have JDK, nothing but Java to support WebSphere installation and all. Come to WAS, WebSphere application server. WAS means WebSphere application server. Just install. Very simple. There is no prerequisite required. You don't need to install anything separately. Just directly install the software. So this is the welcome screen, guys. Just say next. So this is generic thing for any software installation. Accept the license. See, system prerequisite check. So can someone tell me what is prerequisite?
The requirements to install the software.
What else? Prerequisite. See, it like compatibility. Whether the software is okay with the operating system or not. Is it 32-bit or not, or is it 64-bit or not? Is it the supported version for this particular operating system or not? These are all will be there under prerequisite check, whether disk space is available or not. If prerequisite check is passed, you can install the software successfully, else it will fail. So for now it is passed, right? Say next. Now these are optional features of installation. Along with installation, if you want, you can get some sample applications to practice. And anyway, we don't need non-English packages, right? So English is fine for us. Non-English packages are not required. If you select them, there is no harm, but they occupy more disk space. That's the only problem. So I'm not selecting these. Leave them as it is. Say next. And see, this is the installation directory for WebSphere application server. So by default, it gets installed in C, program files, IBM, WebSphere, app server folder. This is not at all mandatory, guys. You can install anywhere. You can install in D drive, E drive, F drive, anywhere you can install. No need to follow this. So if you want to go ahead, just say next, or if you want to change, you can change. And see WebSphere application server environments. So what is the topology of standalone? What is the topology of standalone? Can anyone tell me?
Cell, node, and server.
Cell, node, server. Single cell, single node, and single server, right? That is the standalone topology. If you select this option, you get it. Cell, node, server, you will get it. But I am selecting none. None means it does not create any cell, node, server, but it just installs WebSphere. That's it. This is a good practice to follow because if installation is success, then we can create cell, node, server, right? If installation is a failure one, there is no meaning in creating cell, node, server. That is why we'll have to ensure the installation is success first. For that, I am taking none. Cell, node, server I'll create after installation. You can go with this or this, doesn't matter. I'm go with none as of now. Remember. That's it. These are all the options we need to give. This is the summary, what you have selected, where you are installing, how much memory it is occupying, all the details it has. Say next. Any questions, guys? Almost done, 94% completed. Okay, see, it is success, showing success. And here there is a checkbox, right? Create a new WebSphere application server profile using the profile management tool. See, this is nothing but cell node server. If you create a profile, you get cell, node and server. Okay, we'll create it later also, not only now. Let us finish first. Now the installation is finished. So let us have a look where it gets installed. See, program files, IBM, WebSphere, app server. So here this is called as root directory or home directory of WebSphere. Wherever you install WebSphere, that is called as root directory or home directory. Usually, right, we call it as WAS root, WebSphere application server root directory. Here, if you see, these are all the folders that are installed as part of our installation. This is Java. We need Java obviously because this is a Java based tool. It gets installed automatically. These are the samples you selected. Here if you open, these are all sample applications. If you open anything, it shows you an EAR file to you. These are all sample applications, right? And somewhere you see Derby. Derby is a sample database that gets installed along with WebSphere. If you want, you can use this database for your applications, sample applications. Here, script libraries. A few scripts you have by default to install and configure WebSphere things. This is important. Bin. Bin means binaries. All the executable commands, whatever you want to execute, right? Those are available in bin directory. Open bin. These are all executable files only. Here you have an important folder called as profile management. If you open bin directory, here you have an important folder called as profile management. Under profile management, you have PMT. Under profile management, we have P8. Run it. So you know already PMT means profile management tool. In order to create a profile, we use it. See here, launch the tool, create a profile. So select application server. See, can someone read this explanation description below and tell me what it is saying? What it is saying? Guys, anyone? Okay, I'll explain. So an application server is an environment that runs our enterprise applications. So WebSphere application server is managed from its own administrative console and functions independently. So as it is standalone, it has its own administration part and as well as application serving part. As we'll have only one server now. That is what it is saying. So select application server. Say next. You see, there are two choices for you. One is typical, second one is advanced. If you go with typical, right, it takes all the values by default and it asks you once or twice to install the product. But if you go for advanced, it shows you each and every option that is being installed or configured. So let us go with advanced always. See, you have sample applications, right? If you want to deploy them, you can select this. We don't need them for now. We need administrative console. This is the one by using which we can do WebSphere operations, WebSphere configurations. So we need this, and there will be a few applications, 2 or 3 applications will be deployed by default to the server. Let them be, no harm. This is the name of the profile. Listen carefully. This is the name of the profile. Any name you can give, your name or my name. Any name you can give, does not matter. And here it is saving in profiles directory in the root folder. It is not mandatory to save profile here only. You can save on your desktop as well. No problem. So I'm just saying next. Let it be. And see, I told you already. Profile means it gives you cell, node and server. So it is asking for node name. You can give a name for your node. And next it is asking for your server. You can give some name for your server as well. And host name, right? Nothing but your machine name. You know already. You can give host name or IP address, anything. So branded is my host name, so I'm using that. You can simply give localhost also, guys. No problem, because you are working on a single machine. You can give standalone, localhost as well. That works, no problem. So for now, I'm just keeping branded. Say next. Security, I don't want to enable security for now. Say next. These are certificates, security certificates. Say next. Here, this is important thing to see. See, what are these called as? We discussed already. If you want to contact specific server, right, there will be a set of port numbers to that server. So these are all the port numbers of our server 1. So the first one is administrative console port. In order to open administrative console, see, administrative console is an interface where you make WebSphere configurations and operations. So in order to open the console, we need to give this port number 9060 and administrative console secure port. See, the first one we use when we give HTTP protocol. The second one we use when you give HTTPS protocol. That is the only change. Both are to open console only. Similarly, next set of port numbers, HTTP transport port, HTTPS transport port. These two port numbers we use to access the deployed applications. These two we use to access the deployed applications, HTTP transport and HTTPS transport. These 4 port numbers we use almost day-to-day activities, almost in daily activities. Rest of the port numbers you don't need at all. Just remember these 4 port numbers, that is fine. Clear? Any question here? All right.
The default port for HTTP is 8080, right?
HTTP is?
Or HTTPS, the default ports 8080, right?
That is for Tomcat, right?
Okay. What about HTTPS? Is 443.
See, generally saying the default port HTTP port is 80, not 8080. It's 80,
Okay.
and HTTPS is 443. That is for any web server usually. But when you come to application servers, right, it will vary definitely. If
Hmm.
you take WebLogic, that is 7001. If you take WebSphere, that is 9080. Port number is just a number, right? You can give any number in between 1 to 65,535. That is the range. Between 1 and 65,535, you can give any port number. It may not be 9080. You can change it. You can change it to 1234. Doesn't matter. Okay?
Yeah.
It's just a number. And if you observe, whatever it is showing in the braces, right? Taking that only, right? These are the default port numbers, so it is taking them only. No problem. In future, you see these will vary because of number of installations. These may vary. I'll discuss that later. For now, next. See, run as Windows service. How many of you know what is a Windows service? Go to run, just type services.msc. See, these are all the services that are already running on your Windows machine. If you are started, if you are not started. So those which are automatic, right? They started. Those which are manual, not started. You have to start them manually. Hope you got my point now. WebSphere can also be added as a Windows service. WebSphere can also be added as a Windows service. So if you add it as a Windows service, you can keep automatic or manual. Automatic means it starts whenever you start your operating system. It starts whenever you start your computer. If you keep manual, it does not start even though you start your computer. You have to start the service manually. Which one is better, guys? Automatic or manual?
Automatic.
Why?
Automatic.
Why? Why
Even if
automatic?
the server restarts again, it will start the service automatically.
Excellent. That's the point. See, for your practice and all, I suggest manual because even though for other purpose you start operating system, WebSphere starts if you keep automatic. That's why for your practice, go with manual. At organization standards, right? We always use automatic because sometimes some other guys, because of their things and all, they reboot the systems. In that case, who starts WebSphere? Again, you have to start. If you are not available, that will be a problem. That is why we keep automatic so that whenever the machine starts, right, or reboots, WebSphere will also be started. So for here, I'm just disabling the service. I don't want this Windows service. I know how to start and stop manually. So I'm not adding it. Just leave it. Next, web server I'm not creating now. We'll see later. Next, create. That's it, guys. This is how we install standalone topology. First, I installed WebSphere. Then I came to this. Hope everyone is clear. If any questions, please ask me.
In organizations, we need to run the application with the service account, right? I mean, like with the user account
Yes.
instead of local account.
Yep.
And can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
What is administrative console?
You will see now. Once after its creation, I will show you.
Yeah, sure.
See, the profile management tool created the profile successfully. So as you are a beginner, you don't know how to start the server and what is admin console. You asked me just now. So for that, it helps you. 4 steps console. So just finish it. I don't need this at all now. See, this is called as first steps console, a first interface to help you. So here you can start your server 1, and you can access administrative console as well. Here if you observe, it is disabled. Administrative console is disabled because it is part of server. Administrative console is part of server 1. If server starts, then only you can start administrative console. So start the server first. Just click on it, it starts. If you observe, our server name is server 1. See, server is started. This is the message you see, guys, every time whenever server is started successfully. Server is open for e-business. Process ID is so and so. After every successful startup, it gets a process ID from operating system. Okay, fine. Server is started. Now you can access the console. If you observe, this is enabled. Click on it. It opens a browser now. This is called as administrative console. If you see what it is showing, 9060. This is the port number of administrative console. You can open like this also. Just close it. Open a browser. Sorry. Just say http://localhost 9060/ibm/console. This is the URL for console, guys. If your server is running, you will be able to access the console by using this URL. No, I want to use HTTP. Yes, go ahead. The port number will be different. https://localhost:9043 is the port number of HTTPS if you observe while installing profile. So it shows a warning, security warning. That's okay. Continue. Login. That's it. Is that clear? So you can use HTTP or HTTPS. That is up to you. Now this is called as administrative console of version 7. Here if you go to servers pane, you have one application server in node 1. Applications, there will be a few applications by default installed in WebSphere. These are the applications by default installed and they are running. In future, if you want to deploy an application, here only we install and uninstall. These are a few services of WebSphere. These are the resources like JMS, JDBC, etc. This is security related stuff. Here we configure security to WebSphere. Environment variables we configure here. Administration will not be there much in standalone. Administration we'll see in ND more. Here you won't have anything much, leave it. And here security, users and groups creation, performance monitoring and tuning, troubleshooting, JMS configuration buses, everything we'll see here. So in console we do complete WebSphere administration. Console is the environment for us to perform WebSphere activities. Are we clear? Are we clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it. This is about standalone installation. Now let us have a look at directory structure. Come to root directory. So this is root directory. Here we have a folder called as logs. Go to logs. We have a folder called as install. Go to install. Here you see log.txt. This is very important file for you guys to cross check whether installation is success or a failure. Come down completely. If you see exit code as 0 and inst conf success, means your installation is a success. Means your installation is a success. Always remember, once you install WebSphere, check this. Whether it is success or partial success or a failure, you can see everything here. This is log.txt. If something goes wrong, if installation failed, you can get the information from here, what went wrong and why it is failed. That is logs. And here you have another folder called as manage profiles. Go to that. Here you see, right, application server 1 create. Go to this. Same, come to the end of the file. Here also you should see installation configuration success. Then only you can confirm that your profile installation is success. This is first one is installation of WebSphere. Second one is profile creation of WebSphere. We should ensure both are success. And now let us move to profiles. See, this is the profiles folder just now created. Here only we have our profile, app server 01. Go to this, app server 01. Go to this. Here, this is called as profile home or profile root, whatever. If someone remember, did I give cell name? Did I give cell name during profile creation? Did I give cell number during profile creation? Cell name during profile creation?
No.
Sure.
Yeah.
See, I just gave profile name, node name, server name and host name. I did not give cell name because for standalone it does not ask you for cell name, it takes automatically. Whereas for ND it asks you. For standalone it does not ask you. See here, come to profile. Profile also contains some bin directory to start, stop, backup the server configurations and all. And here we have an important folder called as config. Go to config. Here you have cell. This is your cell name, guys. If you see, this is your cell name, branded node 1 cell. In standalone, you cannot customize it. It takes automatically. This is our cell name. Inside cell, what we'll have? These are all cell supported files. Inside cell, we will have nodes. As it is standalone, we have only one node, that is node 1. So if you open node, these are node related files. Here we have servers. You know already, inside cell we'll have node, inside node we'll have server. Go to servers. This is your server 1. To this server only we deploy applications, and administration part also can be taken care by this server only. That console we have seen, right? That is part of this server only. If you open the server folder, you see some XML files. That's it. Server is nothing but a set of XML files. I hope I make it clear. Guys, any questions? In configuration directory, in config directory, you can see cell node and server of WebSphere. All are nothing but XML files only. Console is a graphical format of these XML files. Console is a graphical format of these XML files. If you change any value here, that value will be changing in console as well. Or if you change any value in console, here also it will change. Vice versa process. Are we clear?
I have a question here, Ravi.
Yeah, go ahead.
First of all, we need to check the in logs, right? Code is 0 and after
Yes.
that, what did you say? I did not catch that. Fine.
No. Now today we did two things, right? One is installation of WebSphere, right?
Uh-huh.
I separate our total task today into two. One is installing WebSphere. Second one is creating a profile. Nothing but Cellnode server,
Yeah.
right? So if you want
Yes.
to see whether installation is success or a failure, come to install folder under logs and go to log.txt.
Go to
Okay,
log dot.
txt. This is a text file, log.txt.
Log dot test file is correct. Yeah. After
Next,
that, where we
after
need to check.
that, here we have another folder called as manage profiles. Okay, go to that file. You created application server profile also, right? Just now by using PMT. We create application server profile now, right? Cell node server, these are all we created just now. For that also we have a log file that is called as app server 01 create. That also you need to check whether it is successful or a failure. That's it. That is what I said. Clear? Clear? Okay, fine. So this is about standalone installation, guys. Is it easy or not? How did you feel WebSphere installation? Is it easy or not? Did I do any special configurations? I just opened the software. I just said next, finish. That's it. So this is such an easy installation. If you can practice once or twice, you will get complete knowledge on it. Okay, this is standalone. ND will be a bit different. So this is standalone in graphical mode in Windows. We'll see silent mode as well. Maybe next we'll see silent mode as well. How to install the software in silent mode means without using any graphical user interface, by using only command prompt we can install WebSphere. That I'll discuss again. For now, just try to understand the way I installed WebSphere. In Linux also I'll show you. We'll see Linux installations also, don't worry. You'll see the same process twice or thrice successively tomorrow, day after tomorrow as well, because we install again ND, we install again the same on Linux as well. So you will see twice or thrice. Even though you have any confusion or question today, do not worry. Just see what's going on. Again, you see the installation. That time you will be clear. Because WebSphere you cannot understand in a single day. Like this, especially installation, it takes 2 days or 3 days. After 2 days, you will be very clear with all these things. Fine. So this is how we install standalone software. Now, let us discuss some architecture points. I have shown you the outer architecture of WebSphere. I did not discuss inner architecture in detail. Today I am going to discuss architecture clearly. So WebSphere is an environment that provides runtime for applications, enterprise applications. It's a middleware technology. It supports full Java platform. It supports different kinds of operating systems. You know that as well. This is the architecture of WebSphere. We have seen in last class if you observe closely. Any question here, guys? We discussed already in last class the same, but I did not show you this, but I have drawn it manually. If you remember the same thing we discussed in last class, there is an application in server. How to access the application? We use a browser to access the application, or we use a web server to access the application, or you can use an app, Java client to access the application, and messaging clients to access the messages. And in the backend, server may communicate with database or any enterprise information systems and process the response. That's why it is called as a middleware technology. We discussed this already. If you have any question, let me know, else I will move to next slide. Okay, hope everyone is clear with this. Application packaging, what is ER file and all we have seen already. Now, this is important, guys. This is called as internal architecture of WebSphere. This is important. This is called as internal architecture of WebSphere. We should know what are all the components that our application server contains. See, basically, every application server is contains two things. One is called as web container, second one is called as EJB container. Usually, application server contains two things. One is called as web container, second one is called as EJB container. What is this web container and what is this EJB container? See, if you remember, ER file contains web module and EJB module. If you remember, ER file, the application we deploy, right, contains a web module and an EJB module. So if you deploy the application to application server, web modules will run under web container, EJB modules will run under EJB container. Those are the two containers we have. And left hand side you see some messaging engine. It processes the messages. Actually it puts and gets the messages to queues and topics. This is the area where messages get saved. From there, if you want to retrieve messages, you can use messaging engine. And here we have web services engine. What is a web service? Does anyone of you know what is a web service? Guys, what is a web service? Programmers, any idea what is a web service? What is a web service? Anyone? No? At least tell me yes, no, maybe. No? No one is talking today. What happened?
No.
Okay. See, web service means suppose while you are accessing with some enterprise applications, right, online shopping carts and all, at the time of payment, you enter your credit card number or debit card number, whatever, then that particular site communicates with your bank site, yes or no? There will be a communication, right? A communication happens between two different sites. The first site may be in WebSphere, the second site may be in WebLogic. The first site is designed in Java, maybe the third site may be in .NET, but they're still able to communicate and transfer the data. By using web services only it happens. If one technology is talking to another technology, or if one application is talking to another application, it is because of web service only. Web services uses a protocol called as SOAP, Simple Object Access Protocol. Simple Object Access Protocol. By using this SOAP only, applications communicate with another application, or application server can communicate with another tool. That is what called as web services engine here. If the request belongs to web services, then it takes care. And if you see below things, JMX, you know what is JMX. Transaction, you know what is JTA, transactions and all. Security, you know. WLM, workload management and high availability, that also you know. Naming, JNDIs, that also you know, right? So this is the internal architecture of WebSphere. Mainly it contains two containers. That is the important point. Inside web container, you have a component called as EHS, embedded HTTP server. If you observe, inside web container, we have embedded HTTP server. The job of embedded HTTP server is to accept HTTP requests. If you give http://www.bank.com, the request directly comes to EHS. It hits web container EHS. Then it processes the request. That's it. This is how it works. Are we clear? Any questions here in architecture? Any questions with architecture, guys? Okay, hope you are clear. So this is typical WebSphere architecture. These are all the components of WebSphere. That's it. The first one we have seen is outer architecture. This is internal architecture. What exactly a server contains is an internal architecture. Hope we are clear. Zero architecture points only. And topologies. We do have two topologies in WebSphere. One is called as standalone. Second one is network deployment topology. This is standalone, one node, one server. This is network deployment, so that you have deployment manager, node agents, and application servers. This is completely called as a cell. WebSphere or WebSphere packages are three: Express, Base, and ND. That's it. This is about architecture of WebSphere. Any questions on architecture? Any questions on today's installation? Standalone installation. Any questions, guys? Please feel free to tell me if you have any questions. Else, you will have your question with you only. No one answers it.
What is the use of EJB container in architecture?
Okay. Did you remember our application ER file structure? ER file structure.
No.
No, right? So ER file contains basically two modules. One is WAR module, second one is jar module. WAR means
Okay.
web module, jar means EJB module. Okay. In web,
Okay.
you just see interface like servlets, JSPs, and all. Designing you will have. But in EJB, we will have business logic like sessions, entity beans, and MDBs.
Okay.
So all the business logic reside under EJB container, whatever required for enterprise application.
Okay.
Any more questions, guys?
very internal the architecture of the WebSphere.
Mm-hmm.
So can you open that one more time, please?
Architecture.
Uh-huh. So if we are deploying anything, so how this is a step-by-step communication. First, we are deploying the server means, so that is communicating with the web server. Can you
See, let me tell you. Let me tell you. Deployment doesn't change anything. It is not the question of deployment. If you deploy directly, application goes to server 1 and it resides in server 1. Web module will be under web container, EJB module will be under EJB container. Deployment does not change anything. While accessing, it changes. You got my point? You got my point? So if you see here, this is what I told you, right? So whenever a request comes, right, it directly hits embedded HTTP server. Let us say you are accessing some bank application. The first page you get is login page, right? So that will be served by this HTTP server, embedded HTTP server from web container. Okay, you logged in. You are doing a transaction. You entered some details and you selected like transfer money. So then you don't see anything happens, but internally it works and it shows you next page. That internal work can be done in EJB container. Checking your balance, sending money to your friend and updating your account. Everything will be done in EJB container. So business logic executes under EJB container, whereas front end interface, the buttons, radio buttons, check buttons, all these things will be from web container. That's it. Are we clear?
so then web services while we are give the credit card details or something like that, the web services come to the picture, right?
Right, exactly.
So at the same time, when this message queue is firing, the message engine is firing means we are getting the emails. Okay, you are deducted this money, transfer this money. Those are the things from the web service we are getting.
See, yeah, actually, when MDB generates a message, see, MDB is the responsible component for messages. So it fetches the messages actually from queues on topics. Once application generates a message, it will be saved in queue on topic. WebSphere means MDB brings that message to your mobile or email, whatever. It sends you. Once message is generated, it sends you. Hope you got
Thank
it.
you. Now I got it.
Yeah. So this is how application server works, guys. The main goal of application server is application hosting. Main goal of application server is application hosting. It provides all the services required for that hosting. That's it. Hope I made it clear. This is the architecture of WebSphere and we have seen standalone installation today. In next class means tomorrow, I'll show you ND installation, which is very important. I'm going to introduce 8.5.5 to you. The installation is a bit different from today. I'm telling you. We need to install a special software in order to install 8.5.5. I'll discuss that in tomorrow's class because it takes time. So I'll discuss that in tomorrow's class. So any questions from today? Any questions from today? Guys, say at least yes, no, maybe. We understand. Just tell me these words, no. Why you guys are keeping mute and staying calm?
Yeah. Can you mail us this videos?
Yeah, I'll do. I'll just consolidate 4 or 5 and I'll send at a time, okay?
Okay. Why? Because we are missing with the first class.
Yeah, I understand. I'll send you Srijan.
Yeah. Thank you.
And in the meantime, right, guys, please drop me your emails to my mail ID for future communication.